Our planet is mostly covered by water, and the vast majority of it remains unexplored to this day. For those who've ventured into the middle of the ocean, you know just how treacherous the waves can be. But what's even more unsettling is that we have no idea what's lurking beneath those waves. From terrifying humanoids encountered by divers to mysterious submarine disappearances, here are 20 underwater discoveries that defy explanation. Number 20. Giant cannibal shark. There are a lot of monsters lurking underwater that we still don't know about. That's why the case of the missing 9-foot shark remains one of the most chilling mysteries to this day. Sharks have long fascinated scientists, which is why marine biologists around the world try to keep track of all living sharks on our planet. In 2014, scientists in Australia spotted a massive 9-foot great white shark off the coast. After tagging the creature, they monitored its activities and movements underwater for several months until they noticed the animal had stopped moving. They traced the location of the tag and found that the device had washed up on a beach. It was then they made a chilling realization: something had eaten the 9-foot-long shark. But what could it be? What other creature in the ocean could consume this ferocious predator? Scientists immediately analyzed the data recorded by the tracking device. The data revealed a rapid temperature rise and a sudden plunge in depth during the shark's final moments. It had plunged 1,900 feet deep into the ocean. While sharks have been found at depths of 4,200 feet, the sudden drop was unusual. Was it the kraken, a giant squid, the mythical megalodon, or a killer whale? For years, scientists tried to uncover the culprit behind the shark's disappearance. Eventually, they solved the mystery. It wasn't any of the creatures they initially suspected. Instead, the animal responsible was another great white shark. The culprit, estimated to be about 16 feet long and weighing over 2 tons, was a massive cannibal shark. This enormous predator easily dragged the 9-foot shark to the bottom of the ocean and devoured it, proving that in the underwater world, the bigger and more ferocious predators won't hesitate to eat their own kind. Number 19. Mysterious submarine disappearances in 1968. Submarines are the apex predators of maritime warfare. These watercraft can lay mines around enemy ports and in shipping channels, attack surface fleets, and sink ships by deploying torpedoes or missiles. But in the depths where submarines navigate, mysterious occurrences have been reported. In the early months of 1968, 4 submarines vanished without a trace. Among them were the Israeli watercraft INS Dakar, the French submarine Minerve, the Soviet submarine K-129, and the USS Scorpion, which served in the United States Navy. The USS Scorpion had experienced several mishaps before its disappearance. The U.S. Navy's Skipjack-class nuclear-powered submarine had suffered an electrical fire during one of its system tests while docked in Norfolk, Virginia. After this, the submarine was given a 500-foot depth limit prior to its deployment. However, just months later, the Scorpion failed to return to Norfolk by its expected arrival date. It was officially declared lost in June 1968. Despite numerous search attempts in the following years, including secret Navy missions, the whereabouts of the USS Scorpion and the other missing submarines remain unknown to this day. Number 18. Underwater wreck. U.S. Navy divers often conduct missions worldwide in collaboration with other countries. In 2014, they teamed up with Colombian divers to explore a mysterious shipwreck off the country's coast. Although the primary purpose of the mission was as a training exercise, there was significant interest in discovering why this ship was submerged in this part of the ocean, an area not known for high volumes of traffic. The wreck was thought to have been a tugboat or possibly a private charter that was transporting questionable goods. However, the mission failed to uncover any clues regarding its purpose or ownership. There was also nothing aboard the wreck worth salvaging. With thousands or even hundreds of thousands of unknown shipwrecks scattered across the world's oceans, there is never a shortage of new ones to explore. While the chances of finding lost treasures or valuable artifacts are incredibly slim, one can never know for sure until they take the effort to dive down and investigate. Number 17. Ruins of the Gulf of Cuba. Most archaeological discoveries are made by chance, and in 2010, oceanographers from the National Institute of Ocean Technology in Chennai stumbled upon one that could rewrite history. Mapping the murky waters 30 kilometers off the Gujarat coast in the Gulf of Cuba. Their initial goal was to measure marine pollution levels in the area. Instead, they made a stunning discovery. Upon examining sonar photographs of the ocean floor, they noticed something unusual. More than 40 meters underwater lay the remains of an unknown ancient city. Excavations began immediately, and after weeks of dredging, over 2,000 artifacts were recovered. The ancient underwater city bore a striking resemblance to the civilization that once flourished in the Indus Valley. Overall, the site covered a vast area, measuring 5 miles long and 2 miles wide. Experts estimate the ruins date back to 5000 BC or even 7500 BC, predating the oldest known remains in the subcontinent by more than 5,000 years. Among the artifacts discovered, carbon dating revealed some were up to 9,500 years old, making them among the oldest ever found. The discovery suggests that this unprecedented civilization thrived toward the end of the Ice Age, when global water levels began to rise. Number 16. An-2 aircraft. The Antonov An-2 aircraft was mass-produced in the Soviet Union for utility and agricultural purposes. Known for its reliability and safety, the design has since been replaced by newer models, leaving owners with limited options for repurposing the planes. In 2010, one enterprising company decided to sink an An-2 aircraft in the Zakrzowe quarry in Poland. Now resting at a depth of 40 feet, the plane has become an ideal site for scuba divers to practice and marvel at an unusual underwater artifact. Before submerging the plane, all fuel and electronics were removed, along with the wings and rudders. What remains is the fuselage, which contains 3 cabins: the cockpit, the main passenger quarters, and the rear storage space inside the tail. For those interested in aeronautical history or divers looking for something beyond reefs and marine life, this underwater plane offers a unique experience. Regular trips to the site are organized, and the owners plan to add other vehicles, transforming the location into an underwater mechanical museum. Now it's time for today's topic. In the late 1980s, Lake Baikal, the deepest freshwater lake in the world, became the site of one of the most chilling underwater encounters in history. Russian Navy divers, conducting routine training exercises, reported encountering humanoid creatures in the lake's icy depths. These beings, described as nearly 10 feet tall with elongated bodies and glowing orbs on their heads, appeared to move effortlessly through the water without the aid of any diving gear. The divers, stunned by what they witnessed, attempted to capture one of the entities. What followed was a nightmare. As the divers closed in, a sudden, immense force propelled them upwards, causing severe injuries. 3 divers tragically lost their lives, and others suffered from decompression sickness. The reports of these aquatic humanoids sparked intrigue, but were dismissed at the time by higher authorities, who publicly labeled the incident as a tragic mishap during training. Recently leaked USSR documents, however, reveal a different truth. Far from being disinterested, the Soviet government secretly launched an extensive investigation into Lake Baikal following the incident. Underwater probes and classified operations reportedly unearthed strange anomalies, including metallic structures buried deep in the sediment and unusual energy readings emanating from the lakebed. Though the findings remain shrouded in secrecy, the leaked files confirm one unsettling fact: the reports of the divers were credible. Lake Baikal holds mysteries that may point to an intelligence far beyond our understanding, and perhaps even beyond our world. Number 15. The missing island of Mexico. How can one island suddenly vanish? This has been the enduring question about the Phantom Island of Mexico. Bermeja was a tiny, uninhabited island located northwest of the Yucatan Peninsula. For 1 century, it remained in the Gulf of Mexico, and yet no one dared to venture and step foot on the island. The following century, it vanished into thin air. Maritime investigations and aerial surveys were conducted to find Bermeja, but no one could locate it again. Some might think it simply didn't exist in the first place, but in the 16th and 17th centuries, the island was a common fixture on maps drawn by Spanish explorers. It was either referred to as Bermeja or Vermeja, and its location varied slightly, but it was always included in maps of the time. However, toward the end of the 17th century, fewer and fewer maps featured the island until it completely disappeared. No one knows what happened to the Phantom Island, but several theories attempt to explain its disappearance. Some claim the simplest explanation is rising sea levels caused by changing climates. Others blame an underwater earthquake or even a secret government mission. According to one theory, Bermeja was deliberately blown up by the United States to extend their sovereignty over the oil-rich Gulf. While this may seem unlikely, many believe this theory to this day. The truth about this mysterious island remains unknown. Number 14. Sea Serpent of the HMS Daedalus. The story of HMS Daedalus may be a century-old tale, but it remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries to this day. It began on August 6, 1848, when HMS Daedalus was sailing between the Cape of Good Hope and St. Helena. The captain and crew claimed they saw a massive serpent. They reported that the creature's head was visible on the surface of the water, which they estimated to be 4 feet long, with the rest of the body stretching at least 60 feet. The captain described the serpent as having a dark brown color with a yellowish-white throat. It was an agile animal, capable of swimming between 19 and 24 kilometers per hour. According to the crew, the creature observed the ship and remained visible for at least 20 minutes before vanishing into the water. Some skeptics believe the tail of the serpent was fabricated. However, The crew insisted they knew what they had seen and stood by their accounts until the end of their lives. To this day, people continue to doubt the story's validity, but it's not surprising considering the entire ordeal sounds more like a fictional tale than a real-life event. Number 13. Devil's Sea Mystery. You're most likely familiar with the Bermuda Triangle, a mythical area in the Atlantic Ocean near Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. In this part of the ocean, dozens of ships and airplanes are said to have disappeared into thin air. Similarly, the Devil's Sea, located near the Japanese coast in the Pacific Ocean, is one of the world's vile vortices and has its own history of strange events. Some of these incidents date back to the 11th century AD when Mongolian conqueror Kublai Khan attempted to invade Japan. He reportedly lost numerous vessels and 40,000 crew members while sailing through the Devil's Sea. In the 1800s, rumors spread about a lone woman sailing through the Devil's Sea, but her fate remains unknown. In later years, fishing and military vessels began vanishing in the area. Japan decided to investigate the disappearances and sent a ship called Kyo Maru No. 5 in 1952. However, the vessel also disappeared, and while its wreck was later found, the crew was never recovered. Several theories attempt to explain the mysterious incidents in the Devil's Sea. Some Chinese legends suggest a monstrous dragon lives beneath its waters, sinking unsuspecting vessels. Others claim the area is haunted. Scientific explanations have been proposed, but none fully explain the phenomena. Number 12. Sunken UFO. There's great debate about whether alien civilizations have ever visited Earth, but one discovery in the Baltic Sea may provide evidence supporting these theories. Known as the Baltic Sea anomaly, this mysterious object was first discovered by a Swedish team of oceanographers. They immediately noticed how out of place the 200-foot-wide spherical disk was against the otherwise smooth ocean floor. Analysis of sonar images revealed sharp edges and what appeared to be a staircase-like structure leading into the object, fueling theories that it might be an artifact of advanced technology. Subsequent dives revealed scorch marks on the surrounding seabed, as if the object had crash-landed. Some researchers claimed the anomaly emitted low-frequency radio waves, sparking further speculation about its origins. Subsequent visits to the top-secret site reportedly uncovered other strange objects. Many people are convinced it's an alien spacecraft. Some geologists, however, believe it's possible the anomaly is a natural rock formation. But this explanation doesn't account for the unusual phenomena reported near the site, such as malfunctioning electrical devices and compasses going haywire. What do you think it might be? Is it truly a UFO? So, what happened to its occupants? Or is the explanation far more down to earth? Number 11. The strange colored pebbles of Lake McDonald. Most people rave about white or black sand when visiting beaches, but visitors to Lake McDonald in Montana are captivated by something entirely different. Lake McDonald is a unique body of water, known not only for its enchanting clear waters, but also for its beautiful, multicolored pebbles. Located in Glacier National Park, the lake is surrounded by vibrant rocks and pebbles. These tiny stones are visible in the shallow parts of the lake, creating a dreamlike effect. Stunning shades of dark red, green, maroon, and blue can be seen beneath the surface, making Lake McDonald a popular attraction for visitors. The colored pebbles are not hand-painted, but are naturally created by the forces of nature. The colors of the rocks are determined by the presence or absence of iron in the water. There are over 700 lakes in Glacier National Park, but only 113 have been named. Each one has its own unique composition. For example, green rocks are found in Otokomi Lake due to its depth, while red and dark-colored rocks are prevalent in Lake McDonald because of its iron-rich waters. Over time, weathering and erosion break the pebbles down, and they eventually settle at the bottom of the lake. Number 10. The sunken city of Cuba. Over a decade has passed since sonar equipment picked up a massive settlement in the ocean off the western coast of Cuba. The structure was found more than 600 meters underwater, with stones arranged akin to an urban settlement. The precise geometric layout of the stones, including straight lines and smooth angles, added to the intrigue, sparking debates about whether this could be evidence of an ancient civilization. Researchers speculated that if this were indeed man-made, it might date back over 6,000 years, predating other known civilizations. Advanced imaging technology revealed pyramid-like shapes and structures that resembled large plazas, further fueling theories of its cultural significance. When the discovery was announced, several people began calling it the lost city of Atlantis. What's strange about this discovery is that there seemed to be no further efforts to excavate the site for unknown reasons. Skeptics claimed that the ancient underwater settlement wasn't what it appeared to be. Some argued that the stones were simply products of natural formations. However, experts who were initially part of the project claim that the story simply went cold, and there were no research teams invested enough to explore the ruins. To this day, the lost city of Cuba remains a mystery. Number 9. Mysterious underwater circles. Stories about mysterious glowing circles appearing underwater have been circulating since the 1900s. Several reports have described massive circles, with a radius of 150 to 200 meters, glowing underwater. Yet, to this day, this strange occurrence remains unexplained. There is one thing we do know about these glowing underwater circles. They only appear in the waters of the Indian Ocean and nowhere else. Sailors who have witnessed the strange circles claim that the mysterious shapes behave differently. Some of the luminous shapes appear on the surface of the ocean with several rays extending from their center, while others lack the radial rays. The luminosity of the circles also varies, with some being bright enough to allow people to read in the middle of the ocean during the dead of night. For centuries, this phenomenon has puzzled sailors, and recently, experts have started noticing the strange circles more frequently. The inexplicable phenomenon has earned several nicknames, such as Buddha wheels and the Devil's Carousel. Despite its appearance in different parts of the ocean, the cause of the strange circles remains unidentified. Number 8. The Cursed Shipwreck. In 2019, a team of researchers aboard the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration vessel accidentally discovered an impressive wreck while testing a remotely operated vehicle. They stumbled upon the wreck 160 miles off the shore in the Gulf of Mexico. The wreck was found about 1,460 feet below the surface of the water, right beside an underwater cliff known as the Florida Escarpment. Upon closer examination, experts realized that the vessel had remained submerged for the last 200 years. The ship's wooden hull was remarkably well preserved, likely due to the oxygen-poor environment at such depths. Artifacts such as glass bottles, ceramic plates, and a rusty anchor were scattered around the site, hinting at its potential use for trade or travel. Marine life, including vibrant corals and fish, had claimed the wreck as their home, making it a stunning underwater ecosystem. Unfortunately, much about the ship remains unclear. Its nationality, crew, trade, and purpose are all mysteries. There are claims that the shipwreck was cursed and met its fiery end at the bottom of the ocean because of it. 2 years after its discovery, details about the ship remain unrevealed, adding to its enigmatic allure. Number 7. World's longest underwater gypsum cave. It isn't often that we discover a place that looks out of this world, but in 1992, a team of brave divers made it possible for us to glimpse a rare underwater gypsum cave known as Orta Cave. This magnificent underwater cavern is located beneath the western Ural Mountains in the Perm region of Russia. Today, it is recognized as one of the most beautiful caves in the world. The cave spans over 5 kilometers, making it one of the longest underwater caves and the largest underwater gypsum cave in the world. Divers often describe the experience as surreal, likening the pristine formations to an alien landscape or a frozen underwater city. What's intriguing about this natural formation is that it has never stopped rearranging itself since it formed 300 million years ago. The walls of the cave are so white and pure that they reflect light, creating an almost otherworldly glow in the crystal-clear water. Many sections of the cave remain unexplored, with divers pushing the limits of human endurance to map its depths. Thanks to its clear water, divers can capture stunning photos of the breathtaking gypsum formations inside. These formations have inspired awe and curiosity, drawing divers and geologists from around the globe to marvel at its beauty and mystery. Number 6. A wooden sea monster. In 2015, divers in the Baltic Sea thought they saw something looking back at them from the depths. Initially fearing it was a strange sea creature, they soon realized it was made of wood. But why was there a wooden creature in the silt of the seabed? The answer solved a mystery that had baffled historians for years. The divers had found the figurehead of the Gribshunden, the flagship of Danish King John, which had gone missing in 1495 after reportedly catching fire. Behind the wooden monster lay the remains of the ship, one of the best preserved vessels from that time period. The figurehead, appearing to hold a person in its mouth, was designed to ward off evil spirits and protect sailors on their voyages. However, it seems it failed in this case, as the ship sank with all its crew members aboard. The Gribshunden offers a fascinating insight into ship design during the time of Columbus and Leonardo da Vinci. The cold waters of the Baltic Sea are perfect for preserving timber like this because the worms that typically burrow into wood cannot survive in freezing temperatures. Efforts are now underway to retrieve all the remains to uncover more about this important piece of regional history. Number 5. Yonaguni Monument. The settlement that was doomed to remain submerged underwater or a natural formation. I'll let you be the judge after learning more about the Yonaguni Monument. In most cases, it's easy for us to determine whether something is man-made or not. However, there are times when even experts fail to conclude whether something was created by humans or by nature itself. The Yonaguni Monument is among these mysteries. The monument is a massive underwater rock formation that covers an area of about 60 by 50 meters. It was discovered in the 1980s by a scuba diver observing hammerhead sharks. Instead of encountering the underwater creatures, he accidentally stumbled upon the massive monument. Ever since, the puzzling case of the Yonaguni Monument has been a hot topic of debate. Located off the south coast of Yonaguni, an island in Japan's southwest region, the entire site is composed of stone slabs with clear-cut corners and sides, making it undoubtedly look man-made. However, as analysis of the monument began, experts contradicting this theory emerged. The Yonaguni Monument became known as the Japanese Atlantis. Some claim that the site is composed of a pyramid structure, roads, stone tablets, streets, and walls. It has been described as a settlement where an unprecedented civilization lived hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Some even claimed that it was the lost continent of Mu, a place that was destroyed and sunk underwater after being hit by a catastrophic disaster. However, none of these claims have been verified. Others believe the underwater ruins were not what they seemed, and instead, the entire site is nothing but the product of thousands of years of erosion and weathering. Number 4. Siberian Lake Monster. The Loch Ness Monster is a long-necked creature that allegedly resides in Scotland's Loch Ness, but did you know that a similar monster was rumored to be living in the remote Lake Baikal in Siberia? Known as the Baikal monster, this legendary creature was said to have been living in the frozen Siberian lake for centuries. Some say the animal resembles a giant pike, a reptile, or even Scotland's Nessie, but no one can tell for sure. There have been several sightings of the creature, but skeptics remain unconvinced of its existence. In 1953, a team of geologists from the Soviet Academy of Sciences visited the lake and reported seeing a massive creature as big as an orca swimming near the surface. In 2012, a professor of biogeography at Moscow State University claimed that sonar readings of the lake indicated several massive creatures in the water, bigger than a school of fish. The following year, a team of Russian geographers explored the frozen Siberian lake, one of the coldest in the world, where temperatures regularly hit -50 degrees Celsius. The team hoped to break the record for the coldest dive in the world, but some claim they had a hidden motive, the mission of finding the Baikal monster. Unfortunately, the team failed to retrieve any photographic evidence of the monster. However, they claim to have found jawbones and skeletal remains of large animals through an underwater scanner. The findings are yet to be confirmed. Today, many are convinced that several large animals are living in the so-called coldest and permanently inhabited lake. What could they be? Is it possible for animals to survive in the punishing cold of Siberia? Number 3. Sunken treasure. We've all dreamed of finding underwater treasure, but sadly, it's incredibly rare. Those who do manage it dedicate years of their lives to tracking down where lost riches were left. However, on occasion, it is possible to come across treasure purely by chance. That's what happened in 2016, when a group of divers was swimming in the murky waters of a Polish lake and saw a chest buried in the silt. They didn't have the equipment needed to investigate fully, so they returned later with tools and a camera and recorded what happened next. As they carefully excavated the chest, they noticed other remnants of the past surrounding it, including fragments of old documents and rusted artifacts. The crate had German writing and insignias on it, so it likely dated back to the Second World War. This discovery raised immediate questions about how such a valuable chest ended up at the bottom of the lake and whether it was part of a larger hidden cache. At first, they had no idea what might be inside. Of course, the hope was that it could be something valuable, but there was also the risk it could contain weapons or something far more macabre. Luckily for them, it was the former. When they lifted the lid, they found rows upon rows of solid gold bars. The divers speculated that the gold could have been stashed there by retreating German forces during the war to keep it from being captured. They couldn't believe their luck at what they were seeing. Even though fines like this have to be given to the authorities so efforts can be made to return them to whoever they were stolen from, this remains one of the best wartime hauls ever discovered. Number 2. The Unexplained Julia sound. The strange sound that was recorded on March 1, 1999, by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration was like something out of a sci-fi movie. The unidentified sound only lasted about 15 seconds, but it was among the most chilling recordings ever obtained in the ocean. The bizarre tone was loud enough to be heard across the entire equatorial Pacific Ocean by autonomous hydrophones. All we know is that the origin of the sound was somewhere between the Bransfield Straits and Cape Adare. Analysis of the sound's frequency range revealed that it was lower than any marine animal call known at the time, adding to the mystery. Some experts hypothesized that the sheer volume and depth of the sound pointed to a source much larger than any whale. Others proposed that the sound's unusual pattern could indicate an unknown geological event, like a deep-sea volcanic eruption. NOAA claimed that the source of the sound was a large iceberg that ran aground off Antarctica, but others believe a different theory. Some have claimed that the sound, now known as Julia, might have been made by a massive creature living underwater. With stories of cryptids like the Kraken and Megalodon lingering in maritime lore, Julia reignited imaginations worldwide. However, this theory remains unsupported to this day. Come to think of it, with such vast unexplored areas of the ocean, it's not entirely impossible that a massive creature could be living in the abyss without our knowledge. Number 1. The uncanny case of the Mary Celeste. The case of the Mary Celeste and its crew remains one of the most disturbing maritime mysteries ever recorded. On November 7, 1872, the brigantine ship Mary Celeste began its journey from New York Harbor to Genoa, Italy. On board were Captain Benjamin S. Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 8 crew members. About 3 weeks later, the vessel was found floating 400 miles east of the Azores when the British ship Dei Grazia spotted it. There were no people on board. The ship was undamaged, though several feet of water had entered the vessel. A mysterious yet seemingly deliberate cut was found on one of the ship's rails, leading some to speculate it was made to secure the lifeboat before a hasty departure. The ship's navigation instruments and ship log were missing, suggesting they may have been taken during the evacuation. Adding to the intrigue, reports indicated that the captain's cabin was undisturbed, with valuables such as jewelry and cash left untouched. Aside from a missing lifeboat, the 6 months' worth of food and water originally prepared on the ship was intact. Did the passengers of the vessel escape, or did something sinister cause their sudden disappearance? Why would the captain abandon months' worth of food and a perfectly sound ship? Pirate attacks, mutiny, sea monsters, many theories have surfaced over the years. Yet, to this day, no one has been able to explain the reason behind the disappearance of the passengers aboard the Mary Celeste. The ocean remains largely uncharted, and it's likely that more mysteries from its depths will surface in the years to come. If you know of other ocean anomalies we didn't include in this video, share them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the other cool videos on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one.